So this is the old station, what is an icon of Kaohsiung, but the other icon is over there. It's the high-rise, the Sky Tower. So they really face each other. And then it's the park and the railway station putting the arms around it, embracing it.
From the world's largest performing arts centre under one roof to an innovative social housing complex to a creative multimodal transit hub where I'm standing in right now, Francine Houben, founding partner and creative director of Mecanoo Architects, has been a key player in Kaohsiung City's transformation. Her involvement with the southern port city began almost 20 years ago and has led to several mega projects across Taiwan. We'll be getting into all aspects of her new station, her projects in Taiwan, and her creative mind. I'm Devi Gopalan, and this is Connected on TaiwanPlus. Kaohsiung's old railway station was torn down in 2002 as part of an ambitious underground railway project that covered 7 new conventional rail stations, as well as almost 10 kilometers of tunnels. In 2008, Francine Houben was given the task of building Weiwuying National Kaohsiung Center for the Arts, now the world's largest performing arts center under one roof. In 2012, she was brought in again to design a new building for the city's main station. It was officially opened in 2024, more than 2 decades after the original building closed. Can you explain what the main challenge was in redesigning the place? It seemed like a very long process.
What is the unique thing, because this is infrastructure, and infrastructure takes always a lot of time. So what the city of Kaohsiung did is to bring down the whole railroad track, what was dividing the city in 2 parts. They brought it down and made a linear park, green park out of it. And it takes a long time to build that tunnel. And they brought together this, they really want to make this mobility hub, so bringing together the new metro system. They have a lot of national and local buses here, a lot of scooters, of course. And in the future, there will be even here the high-speed train will stop here in the center of Kaohsiung. What is for us unique about this process, we were working already in Kaohsiung. We were working on Weiwuying. And we became friends with the structural engineers, and we knew a lot of people in Kaohsiung. And they told us they didn't like the design at that moment of what was happening above the tunnel. So and it was designed by, I think, an American architect.
So they already had a plan at that point?
Yeah, they had a plan, but I think everything underground was good, but above it, it was it was very much out of scale, they felt. So they made a kind of small competition, and because we know Kaohsiung so well, and it's a harbor city, it's a very informal city, it's rather close, it's of course close to the ocean, so you can really, catching the wind of the ocean.
You can feel the breeze right now.
Yeah, and so we really wanted to make this kind of subtropical station. Not everything air-conditioned. Air-conditioned is where it's needed, but here this is all covered space, catching the wind of the ocean, but also protecting you from the rain and the sun, what is in a subtropical city very important, but also to make this kind of informal, unique space where people can come together. And you were asking me what was your big challenge. We changed the flow of the traffic. The original design before we came in was that even the cars went through the station. And we didn't like that. So what we did, we made almost like an enormous plaza, what you can see here. And all the traffic goes around it like an enormous rotunda. And this is the place for people to meet, to go to the mobility hub. So you're really on an axis of the city. So this is where the tunnel is now.
one thing you've mentioned is the use of light, and you can see it here where we are seeing some of those light wells that you've created. Can you explain how that works with your designs, not just here but across the board? What you take into account when designing?
Yeah, well, I think what's extremely important here in Kaohsiung, that it's subtropical city, tropical city, it gets dark around 6. And that's totally different from in my own country or New York or Washington. So also in the Chinese culture, light is important, but also very much artificial light. And also the idea, you can see now already a little bit happening in the city.
Yeah.
When it gets 6, then all the lights, artificial lights, is it a good word, artificial lights?
Yeah.
Go on.
The city lights up.
The city lights up.
Yeah.
But also I feel even the people light up. Because it's not that it's dinner time, people meet each other, they often eat in the streets or in public spaces. I love that, and also the way we design these big skylights. One big skylight is over here, but over there is that, for instance, around noon at 12 a.m. Then the light, of course, the sun is high, and it gets beautiful light wells through these skylights into the public space of the station. So, and it changes the experience of the space. And also what I did experience in Kaohsiung, this what I call this very pleasant informal city, is that people do street dancing, they make their own music. They don't do that much in a cultural center. So it's also happening on the street, or having a small marketplace. So this is the dream what we did create here, that this is possible in this city.
That's also a philosophy that you've applied to the other landmarks you built here in Kaohsiung, including Weiwuying. But you built a number of you've had a number of huge projects across Taiwan. Can you tell us what draws you to Taiwan?
Now, almost 2 decades ago, there was the Weiwuying competition, and a local architect asked us, Acacia, to join their team. And I thought, yeah, why not? But I had never been here. So it was for me the very first time to come to Taiwan, to come to Kaohsiung. And I thought, what kind of city is this? Because at that time it was still, of course, the harbor city, but also very much an industrial city. It felt very polluted, to be honest. There was a lot of traffic on all the scooters. Everybody was driving a scooter, but the smell of the city was not that good. And they told me they really want to change the city. They want to become this livable city, this green city, this healthy city. And I did like that idea very much. So we did participate for Weiwuying. What is, maybe as you know, is a former military compound. And I remember coming there for the very first day, and you know, it was fences around it. And I went through the gates, and I remember just barking dogs, barracks, because it was a military compound, and the banyan trees. And that banyan tree became the symbol for us to design Weiwuying. Maybe a strange story for you, but when I come, because we work all over the world, I always look at the trees. Because the trees, they have the roots in the soil, and it tells you something about the soil. It tells you something about the climate, what is needed, and this subtropical city with the banyan tree explains you, protecting you from the rain and the sun. And I also saw, when walking around in Kaohsiung, it gets dark at 6, around 6 here, and then everybody comes out because daytime can be too hot. And then people eat in the street, they do their performances. I felt it like a very happy city, with very safe city, very pleasant people. I think observing the city and their ambition to become this livable city, this green city, was really the inspiration why I would love to work here and how we did design Weiwuying, but also this station for the main station of Kaohsiung.
It does feel like we're under a big canopy at the moment.
Yeah, it's and of course the main thing we did is making this canopy to sit underneath, but also to make a park on top of it.
So one of your principles is the harmony with nature. How much convincing did it take to have this concept of a green roof as part of the station?
Well, we said it's like a hill. You have the mountains here and you have the flat landscape. This is like a hill, it's very natural. And it's also a hill you can bike over, that was crucial. And in a way, did we need a lot of convincing? No, they did believe us. And you see, it also really works. Because the whole system of what's happening underground is a whole system of different layers of subway, national rail, high-speed rail, people walking, and then on top of it, walking over the roof. So it was kind of combining all these levels. And you are here in a very important axis of the city. So over there is this long line of the tunnel, what is now a park. And this axis showing the Sky Tower. And that part of the city, it's another axis, so it's bringing all these things together on this point with the hill. And in the hill, there is the big skylight, what brings the light down into the hall.
We'll have a look at that later.
And the idea of this ceiling came from entering one of the temples here in Kaohsiung, in the harbor. And they had always outdoor a ceiling of lanterns. And of course these were red lanterns, but I always did like that there is a kind of space defined by lanterns that made an outdoor space. So this is a little bit, of course it's not copying something, but it's inspired by this. And we really also wanted to make it very organic and also keeping the views to the mountains around us. And so these little, it feels like stones or with lanterns, and the lanterns, they can change light, so you should come here in the evening. Yeah, that makes it this unique ceiling.
Yeah, it's a really nice feeling sitting under here. You really feel like you are sitting in nature.
Yeah, yeah.
You talked about your impressions of Kaohsiung and maybe the culture here, but architecturally, what were your impressions when you first got here 20 years ago of Taiwan? And what is it now?
What is it? 20 years ago, and then of course I know the best at that time observing Kaohsiung, because Taipei and Tainan and Taichung were a little bit more historical. It was not the most positive, the cities were not the most positive experience at that time yet. And at the same time, Taiwan, the landscape, this island, what was called Formosa, what means paradise, it felt like paradise at the same time. So to help to change this feeling of nature, getting into the city of Kaohsiung, or even what we did in Tainan, I think that was our idea. And I really saw, I think that's unique. I tell all over the world, if I show how Kaohsiung transformed in 2 decades, it's possible in 1 generation to change a city. Because this is really a different city compared to what it is now. And it's not just Weiwuying and this station, but what they did with the river, the Love River, making more green parks in the city, making the subway system, the metro, introducing this green line of the streetcars. It feels, you know, when I smell the air now, so much better. It's now good, it feels like a healthy city.
So how do you balance your architectural style with local culture, historical and environmental needs, especially in projects like this, Kaohsiung Station, Weiwuying, Tainan Library, all of them at the center of society?
We work all over the world, almost everywhere. But what they often expect from an architect, that they have a certain style, it's always wide or it's straight or it is curved. But for me that's not logic. So I try to look at what is needed in that city, in that climate, in that culture. And that's what we also did here in Taiwan. With the building, we designed the Library of Birmingham, really fits in Birmingham. Or what we did in New York really fits in New York, and what we did in Washington fits in Washington. So it's really, I try to observe, and that's why always when I start a project, I go there for several days. You know, I stay in a hotel, sometimes even a simple hotel. I take the public transportation, I bike, I like to bike. So to really feel the city as like I'm living here. And that's what I like to do. So this is more, we really wanted to make here something organic. Also for Weiwuying with the Banyan Plaza, the famous Banyan Plaza. But if you look at our Tainan library, is more, we decided to make a big horizontal building. But at the same time, again, protecting again from the rain and the sun, because it's the same climate, Tainan and Kaohsiung. Yeah, so it's playing with the ingredients. It's almost like cooking.
So, looking back on your Taiwan experiences, what challenges have pushed you most creatively that you feel has kind of changed the way you look at future projects?
What I realized, what we did in Taiwan, here in Kaohsiung, is these big public buildings, how important the ceilings are. To give a kind of identity, to give a kind of continuous space, about thinking about the light. And you see in many more of our projects now the ceilings become very important. Also the railway station we did in Delft, the city where Mecanoo is based.
And where you went to university.
And where, yeah, it's where I was a student and I've been a professor in mobility. Also there the ceiling plays an important role. There the ceiling is more a reinterpretation of the history. And here it's more this organic cobblestone idea.
Why do you think you're getting these projects in Taiwan? Like, what do you think it is about your designs or what you're doing here in Taiwan that seem to capture the imagination here and get you these mega projects in Taiwan, from the railway station to libraries to now the latest railway station that is in the airport city, or the key airport city of Taiwan?
I don't know, maybe you have to ask people from Taiwan, but I think we became really, we do understand the culture. We also understand the whole engineering, how it works here. Of course, don't forget, we have here typhoons and earthquakes. You can also see how thick the steel construction is. Typhoons, earthquakes, we have to take care of them. And I think they like to work with us because we are, yeah, we really try to understand culture. We're not big egos that bring in, oh, you have to make it like this, but we really are very collaborative. And we enjoy to be here.
So what was interesting with Weiwuying, and I think it's something you try to do with many of your projects, is that you work with local engineers or local architects, I believe. Mm-hmm. And in Weiwuying, even with shipbuilders. Can you explain that concept you have and perhaps why you felt that that was important and the challenges that come along with that?
Maybe it was, first of all, also for instance for Weiwuying, to find out how to make that building. The skin of the Banyan Plaza was a whole journey. I think it took us 1, maybe 2 years to find out how to make that, because it's so humid here. Again, our earthquakes, typhoons, you know, it should be strong. It's a public space. So we did find out, hey, let's make it with the local shipbuilding industry in combination with the Dutch shipbuilding industry. So it was a collaboration between the Netherlands and Taiwan. And yeah, you learn more about the country, what are the possibilities. You also have to realize that Weiwuying, but also this Kaohsiung main station, was not a high-end budget project. So we really had to be very clever to find out how to make here locally, how to make things that work here, and how people can make it. And maybe for me, especially this Kaohsiung station, but also Weiwuying, it's a public building. It's made by public money. And I really wanted to feel that it's made for the public. So they are very proud, for instance, that Weiwuying is made by the local shipbuilding industry. It feels almost like an enormous ocean liner. Also how we did detail it and how we did the graphics. It's like a ship, a cargo ship, and not a luxury ship. It's like a cargo ship. And I think people feel that it's made for them. And that's also what I think here in Kaohsiung. People think it's, hey, this is made for me. Not for me personally, but for somebody from Kaohsiung. And I think that's unique things what we did. Also, if you look at our Taiwan library, how we did the facade, if you look at the top floor, it's patterns from the old city of Tainan, how we did make the facade. So we use the local history, we use the local climate, we use the local, of course we work together with the local people, but it's not like being vernacular, like copying old styles. So it's bringing new eyes, Dutch eyes, to a city or to a country. That's the way we normally work.
So let's speak internationally. What's the difference between designing a mega project here in Taiwan than in the US or in the Netherlands? Like, do you approach, how different is your approach, or do you have different approaches for each area or country?
You have to realize that architecture is not autonomous art. We really we have a client, we have consultants, so it's a very collaborative thing. So I always say a building, the result is as good as also the client is. So it's different way of working. Like here in Kaohsiung Station, we were more working with the railway company and all the engineering and all the engineers. Weiwuying in the beginning was this national art center, was more working with the not the ministry, it was a national commission. If I work for the library, New York Public Library is for the New York Public Library system, and they had a very strong leadership, our clients. And in Washington it was also totally different, because there was extremely important that the building is named after Martin Luther King. So the public really wants to see how we honor Martin Luther King. So it's always different. It is not, all the clients are different, and I always say, we dance with it. You know, how can we understand the client, what is needed for the public? And of course there's also the whole engineering and the aesthetics, how we make that feel good.
You've always said that you want a building or your creation to be used beyond its purpose. Yeah. Have you seen some of what you've designed or created used in ways that you perhaps didn't realize it could be used? Has anything surprised you?
I think the way the WP is using the Banyan Plaza in Weiwuying is amazing, how they program it. We had ideas about it, but that it's so uniquely done with, I don't know if you've seen also images, so sometimes that was always our idea. You can do show movie on the skin of the building, or they hang swings, because we made hoists in the ceiling so you could hang things. But my idea was, you know, maybe hang Chinese lanterns. I don't know what they would hang, but they hang swings for children to swing from the ceiling, or they do the yoga. Yeah, yoga was also always our idea, but what is happening there is beyond my imagination, and I think that it even has more possibilities. The building itself is a stage. Maybe that's important in my whole philosophy. We did so many theaters and libraries, but the building itself is a stage. The city is a stage. So there also this space, I can imagine when there will be more people living around here and those office spaces will be open, because it's still empty now. Things will happen here.
Further north, you broke ground on the Taoyuan railway station, which is going to come up between now and 2033. Can you tell us a little bit about that project and what you're hoping it will, one, do for the city, and two, what your vision for it is?
I think for Taoyuan Station, it's important that it becomes again a kind of more mobility hub, what is very convenient. It has a kind of iconic roof, more straight forms we use there. And it's also a way to go down, and I hope it will also become, of course, to the subway and to the train, but I also hope that it becomes a catalyst as an important new public space for the development around the station, because we also expect more buildings to happen there around it, because in a way it's in the old part of the city, it's an existing part of the city, but no, those buildings will be catalysts, and I hope people will feel that they own it.
And for our viewers, Taoyuan is also home to Taiwan's main international airport. Yeah. So what do you hope people in Taiwan will feel or carry with them after spending time in your buildings?
Yeah, that they want to come back. That's maybe my most important feeling, that they like it so much and that they are surprised that this is possible, but also that it feels so inclusive is maybe important for me. It's not just for the rich, it's for everybody. It's really bringing everybody together.
Bringing everyone together. Francine Houben, founding partner and creative director of Mecanoo Architects. Thank you very much for being part of Connected today.
That's a pleasure.